Alright, just to help that out a bit, I tried to find my, I mean, I've got so many freaking things, I don't know where I put it, but whatever, not a big deal. Let's just take a look. Let's create, no, create, oh crap, don't create, well yeah, create a cube, but let's create a train. Okay, so we have a train, and let's just kind of come in a bit, bring the camera down so we can see something. For a little bit of flair, you know, we could, that's a little excessive. Alright, that, well, yeah. There we go. Alright, that should work just fine. Yeah, give that a little bit of a bump happening. Right, so create a cube, and we're going to put the cube somewhere up on this terrain. Now, well, let's just stick them kind of roughly there. So, where is that cube in relative to the camera? He's way down here. Okay, let's stick him up on this little hill. There. Now we can see him. I can even give him a color so we can see him a little better. So we have a cube, right? So we have our train, and I'm going to put the train on. I guess it really doesn't matter. We'll leave him on default, and we'll change the cube to player layer, just any kind of layer. Just you don't want them to be the same layer, right? You can put the logic anywhere. And all we're going to do, we're very, very quickly just going to get mouse button down, left, you know, we did a click, and now, actually, you know what? I'll even show you. Okay, I'll show you two different methods to do this. Okay, mouse pick. That's what we're looking for. So we're looking for mouse pick. Make sure you got array long enough to go from the camera to the train. Store game object. The picked layer mask is going to be the layer that we're looking for right now of these cubes, right? And let's do game object compare. Well, we need a way to tell if we clicked on something. So let's take the picked, compare it to, say, a null, and if it's equal, pretty much do nothing. If it's not equal, then it must be something. What the hell's flying by my feet? Being attacked by aliens or some bloody thing. Christ, that thing was freaking big. It's like a bug or something. Made me jump. Okay. So we skip if it's nothing. If it is something, we want to drag it, right? So the first thing we want to do is set layer, because we don't well, I guess we don't have to set the layer. We could just, like, they need to be on different layers, no doubt, when you're picking them. But I mean, you always could just kind of do it from here too, right? So we're going to mouse pick and say we're going to store the hit point, and now we only want to hit the terrain layer, right? You could also do it that way, or you can swap layers and whatever works for you. Now let's set position. Now we're going to have one little issue here, and we're going to try to fix it in a unique way. World space, we want picked to go to hit point every frame, and mouse button up. So we can just click. It's more of an unclick, but whatever. So let's come over here and set game object. Let's set our picked to null just in case, and go back up and wait. So 4 little simple states, and that should do the bulk of the work, right? Right, I can just drag it whatever. I can now take cubes, you know, take numerous cubes, and I can drag these around, whatever, right? We can just do whatever we want with them now, just with that one little piece of logic. So it covers almost everything. Right now we have the issue of the cubes, this part here being in the middle, which is where we would normally, well, you can do it a few different ways, right? Like you could, if you're dealing with just, I don't know, kind of things in the middle, I guess you could say, you could add a little state here, right? And we could say, I'm going to grab one of these colliders, but I'm gonna change this to, right? I'm just doing that to get a fast variable. I don't actually want that cube's collider, but I want a collider variable. It doesn't even need to be a box collider as long as it's a collider. So let's get property of the new collider of its size on its Y, like that. Float divide, take its size, divide it by 2. Okay, now let's set vector 3 XYZ. This is now going to be an offset, and we're going to give it Y. Now over here, instead of the set position picked to the hit point, let's add in a little vector 3 operator, and let's just bring him up here above all of that stuff. So he's below the mouse pick but above the set position. We're going to take the hit point and offset, we're going to add them and get a new set every frame. And now we can set to the new set. Okay, so now we should have, I can make a few different boxes here. And if I want to make a box and make it, you know, bigger, it shouldn't matter. it should sit. Now it's still going to be based right off the center of where it is to the map, but it should sit on the surface if your point is in the middle. So that one's still not. Oh yeah, I know why. It's because I scaled it. Right, I scaled it this way, but the collider still technically is like 1. So I mean, you could always multiply it by the size too, right? You could always right, like you could get, okay, we get that, we get the offset, get scale of the picked, and we can call this one scale, and actually, you know what, let's just get the y scale. So we'll divide it by 2, but then multiply it by the scale. I think. Who knows? I could be totally freaking wrong about this. So y scale. Yeah, see, I don't know. He's still not quite there. Right? Because that guy there, let's see. Because he got his size on this last cube, which is the big cube, which is 3s, and the collider itself is a 1. So he gets y, divides it by 2, gets the scale, which is a 3, multiplies them together, and you get the 1.5. We come along here, we get hit point. It's only adding 0.5. Oh, did I not? Oh, I yeah, see, look at that. Put that way up there. Let's move that to the bottom. That should make a world of difference. Yeah, see, there we go. Just got to put things in the right order. You know, I preach that all the time, and here I go not doing it. Right, but now it doesn't matter how big the box is, because now we're bringing the scale and the collider and everything involved into it, and we're not making extra little layers and stuff here. So this is one way, right? And that's overall it's a pretty simplistic way, probably a little simpler than the previous video. So we're just getting mouse down, we're just getting an input, we're doing a mouse pick, we only want to hit the layer of whatever we want to drag. We're going to check that picked, if we actually picked something, because I mean, if I click over here, you know, it's a null, so it's going to be like, nope, sorry, you can't do anything, don't run the rest of the logic. But if it isn't null, then obviously we've clicked on one of our boxes. So I'm going to, oh, you know what I didn't do? That's exactly what my problem is. There's one more thing we got to add here. Right, so, but ultimately we want to get the size, right? And okay, well, the size itself is the whole thing, and the anchor point's in the middle, so we don't actually need the size, we need half the size. So we're going to take the size, divide it by 2. But then I'm going to get the scale, because we're not technically grabbing like this size. Like we want, because they can both affect what it physically looking like, right, in the world. So we kind of want to grab both. I'm taking them both, multiplying them. I set this new vector that doesn't exist, is now called an offset. Now we just add our hit point and the offset, add them, and we're going to set position there. The thing I messed up on, you can't get property on a cube like that. You need to get component first. Right, so we get the component of the picked, store it into the new collider. So now it doesn't matter what we clicked on, we're going to check its collider. Right. Right, so I can see it's none, but now it was Cube 3's box collider, so it gets the sizes and everything. You know, that was, you know, box collider. You know, it's box or Cube 1, Cube 2. Right, so you're getting all the different components onto each box. So that's one way you could do it, and that's with logic sitting here. The other way you could do it, the whole system, is by simply adding in stuff like this. System events. Right, we have mouse down, and we have mouse drag, and we have mouse up. So if we get mouse down, we could now mouse pick, just like before. Let's just hit the terrain and store the hit point. No, we don't need to do that every frame. We just need to do it once, because once we start dragging, actually, you know what? Let's just move this over here and then put them on every frame. We don't actually even really need the mouse down for this, just the drag and the mouse up. Okay, so we're dragging, and we could now set position, right? But we might want to do that same kind of idea where we get our offset and we build that offset, right? So we can, over here, I guess we can just make a variable of ourselves. Right, we can say get scale, Y scale. Over here, get property. So you know what? Maybe we'll put that in the mouse down too. Of our collider. Size, the Y, store that as Y. Now let's float multiply. So literally the exact same idea. And set vector 3 x, y, z. So this is also going to be an offset. And we're going to give that the Y. Make sure to put this down below everything. That's what screwed me up last time. So now we have an offset. So while we're dragging, we're going to get this hit point, vector 3 operator. So we're going to take hit point, offset, add every frame. We're going to get a new position called set, and we're going to set position to set space world every frame. Move this guy right to the bottom. mouse up. Technically, you need it here, but you don't need any logic in it, right? But now, like, we don't have this logic activated, and as you can see, it's essentially doing the exact same thing, right? So it's got its own logic. And if I duplicate them now and scale a couple of these up, whatever, something like that, you'll see that they can run their own logic. It's kind of hovering a bit. I might have a little bit of a oof on the math of some of that stuff. So get scale, get property, y scale. Not that worried about it right now, but you can play with that. So one of the other kind of cool ways of doing it this way, though, is you can now turn around and be like, this is my drag template, right? So then I can turn around and be like, you know what, like I want, I built some more things. They're over here, like, oh, I really want to have this thing have a drag. Well, if I now just give it an FSM, give it the drag template, that's it, right? It works, right? You can have that as a template now, and you can just put it on things, right? Anything you want draggable, you can just do that with. Or you can put them in different layers. Yeah, or, well, I guess you got to run different layers anyways, but or run a system like this where you have one system that can do everything, right? And you put your logic in with it, or you put the logic on the cubes themselves. Cool.